Hi guys, it's ArchieLuxury on the Pluta channel. Today guys, I am doing a paid review 21QA106. Quick watch check. What am I wearing today? Rolex Submariner. This is the new 41mm sub date. Love this watch. Okay, this here is a paid review and it personal advice on purchasing a Rolex watch. Hello dear Archie, I enjoy watching your videos for years and I'd like to get some advice for you on what watch I should buy. I have a few options I think about. The most important thing for me in the watch is that it will keep its value and even increase in value. Which one of the following watches do you think is the best investment? A Rolex GMT Rootbeer rose gold, I think he means the solid gold, or a Rolex Day Date 40 with Sundust Roman dial. Do you have in mind another rose gold watch you think is a better buy? Also, which of those you like better? Thank you very much, Archie. Really looking forward to get a video from you. Greetings from Israel. And I gotta say there, thank you. Personal advice video is actually $50. You only sent me 20. A little bit on the stingy side there. Okie dokie. Thank you. Okay, so I gotta be honest with you. This isn't really the type of question somebody should be asking. If you were buying a solid rose gold watch, you really should be buying what you like. Now, I got to be honest with you, the way you've asked this question really worries me. Number one, you're incredibly stingy. My fee is $50 US, okay? You sent me 20. That it's just not a good start. Then you're asking me on a very expensive watch. You know what I think? If you can't afford to buy gold, buy steel sports. That's right. That's what I would say to you. If you really are asking this question like it's life or death, you know what? Steel sports is a much better way to go. Okay, you're asking this question, it's just not cool. Now, let me just paraphrase that. Let me just clarify. In my opinion, Rolex, if you were to buy a modern wristwatch today, Rolex is one of the brands which appears to hold its value very well. Rolex also has two things I really love. That is automatic. Most of their watches are automatics and they are waterproof. So whether you buy a Day Date, a GMT Master, or a Submariner, it's got a pretty good degree of waterproofing. We're not talking splash resistance. We mean you could actually swim in any of these Rolex Oyster watches. So, I gotta say, it's a pretty good equation. Now, where the problem comes in is the fact that the way you've worded this email, you make it sound as if this is life or death. Now, if money is so tight that you can't afford to make the wrong decision, I don't know if you should really be getting a solid gold Rolex. To be honest with you, you don't sound... Rich people who want to buy a watch, normally when they want to buy a solid gold watch, you know, they're kind of later in life. They don't give a shit about... they don't really give a shit about their kids being able to eBay this watch, or, you know, they kind of have a ring of confidence that I just don't get from your email. And I gotta be totally honest with you. I think myself, I'm gonna answer your question, but I would say to you, man, maybe what you should do is get yourself a steel sports watch. Why do I say that? Well, I say that because Rolex Steel Sports, they're going to be a hell of a lot cheaper. Say, now if money's a bit tight, let's be honest, the way you've sent me $20 lousy for a $50 review, I'd get the Explorer 2, okay? Because the GMTs are really hot, the Explorer 2s are a bit softer. You can get one of these for 10 to 13,000 US dollars. So that's not a bad way to go. That's what I would do. It's a Rolex. It'll last well. Look after your watch. Don't treat it like garbage. Look after it and be happy. So that's what I do. The way you've said it, well, I got to be honest with you. What else would you buy there? Maybe a Patek. I don't think you're cool enough for a Patek. I don't think you're sophisticated enough for a Vacheron. I think Rolex is a good brand. I do like Rolex. But, so you're going to buy a gold Rolex. Okay, so what do I think is the best gold Rolex? Look, generally speaking, the sports gold Rolexes have retained more value than the more dress-orientated gold watches. The sports being Submariner, GMTs, Explorers, Yachtmeisters, Milgaus, they've tended to do better than the more dressy Datejust and Day Dates. So my advice is the rose gold Day Date is a beautiful watch. My advice would be buying Rolex, doing well. You buy the one you really like. It's not really which one's going to be the better investment. I think traditionally, if we look back, I mean, who knows what the future holds us? If you are so concerned about the future, my advice would not be to buy a flashy solid gold Rolex. If you're so concerned, I would probably go best bang per buck would be two-tone. The strength of steel and a little bit of flash in the gold. So I think, how wealthy are you? Because I get this vibe, I get this bad vibe. The way you ask these questions is, it's like saying, dear Archie, I want to buy an automobile. Do I buy a Mercedes-Benz or do I buy a Toyota or a Lexus? And the answer is go for the Lexus. Go for the Lexus. But if you're really concerned, get the Camry. The Camry's a great car, but it doesn't have the prestige of the Benz. Now, you got to realize when you're buying a solid gold watch, this is a lot of prestige and status built into it. Now, seriously, normally I would encourage you, I would say the most important thing is buy Rolex, buy an Oyster, a Rolex. I mean, Oyster is the case, the Oyster case, the waterproof, which means stay away from the Cellini because often those are not waterproof. They don't have the same water resistance. Get an Oyster case. I would generally say buy what you like because you're spending so much money. Buy what you really do like. If you like the Rolex Datejust or the Rolex Day Date, or you like the Sky Dweller, you've got to buy the model that means something to you. I think you'd be pretty safe with these Rolexes. But the way you ask the question, it sounds like it's break or... Man, if money is that tight, don't buy a Rolex, okay? Don't buy Rolex is not for poor people who nickel and... If you are so desperate to make the right decision, you really shouldn't be buying a solid gold Rolex. Maybe you should pay off your credit cards. The best advice I can give you is pay off your credit cards, pay off your home. That is the best advice. Solid gold Rolexes are bought by people who have attained a certain layer of wealth already. And they buy a watch which is going to pay dividends by making them happy. Not by their resale of this thing if things go kibosh. Okay? So my advice is, I'd be looking at and saying, am I really ready for this? Can I afford this? Because the way you've asked the question, not only have you shortchanged me $30, but you've asked this question in such a way that it's so important to get it right. Now, my honest answer is, this is all luxury. These are consumer. This is conspicuous consumption. You don't need to buy a Rolex. You don't need to buy a gold Rolex. If you're a bit worried, I would get best bang per buck with best resale value would be an Explorer. I reckon the Explorer 2 is a beautiful, beautiful watch. That is a beautiful watch. It's Rolex, it's steel, it lasts you a lifetime. In fact, I would say, you know what? I hope you've got more. Normally people who buy a solid gold one, they've got another one at least. So I wouldn't be buying a solid one as my one and only Rolex. I'd make sure you got a couple steel watches. This is still a precious metal watch. It's a special occasion watch. So my advice to you, if you're making an investment, I don't like these words. You know what I mean? It's like buying a Mercedes-Benz S-Class. They're not really an investment. You've got to achieve a certain level of wealth to get one. But they're not really... That's not really the wording I'd use. That worries me. My best investment you can do is pay off your credit cards and pay off your house. Now, as far as the watches go, which one is the one that's most likely to retain value? I would say generally the solid gold sports have outperformed the day dates. Okay, that's generally speaking. But I would always say, if you're spending that sort of money, you should buy the one you love. Not about money. A Rolex is a pretty good thing to buy. But if you think remotely you may need to sell it, well, maybe you don't have enough money to really buy it. And as I said, maybe you should look at a steel Explorer 2. That's an amazing watch. So that's kind of, so to answer your question, generally speaking, the sports solid golds have done better than the day dates, but the day dates have been a smaller size. So now this is a 40 mil. I still think I'd go sports in solid gold. Do you have in mind another rose gold watch which you think is a better buy? These aren't good buys. They're expensive. They've got the same movements as the steel. I mean, the best bang per buck is the Explorer 2. That's the best buy. I wouldn't necessarily buy one in rose gold. I don't think that is the best buy. Just like the S-Class Mercedes it's not really... It depreciates horrendously. It's expensive. That's not really best buy, and that is kind of two opposites. These are for people who don't worry about best buys, okay? Also, Which of these do you like better? I think they're both beautiful. They are both absolutely beautiful. I can see value in both. I think they're probably equal. As far as which one do I like better, I like both of them. Thank you very much, and looking forward to your video. Now, you've shortchanged me $30. Did you do that intentionally? Normally $20 is only for advice, not with a video, but I mean, that's just uncool. You know what I mean? It's not cool. And that sort of person who does that shouldn't be buying a gold watch. You know, I think honestly, get steel. Get steel. Gold watch is not an everyday thing. You normally have that as a special occasion. Get a steel as well to enjoy. A little bit stronger. Just something to enjoy there. Okay, thank you so much there. That's the paid review. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will see you in the next one. Guys, remember, like, subscribe, and tell your friends. And remember, I can't survive on Google Ads alone. I need paid reviews to keep me full-time on YouTube. Guys, look down in the description. It's $50, not $20. This guy shortchanged me. Look at this. This is the sort of stuff that I got to deal with. Guys, it's $50 for a paid review, and I'll tell you my honest opinion. And guys, don't forget, you can sponsor me on Patreon. Patreon allows you to pay as little as $1 a month to keep me full-time on YouTube. Hi guys, ArchieLuxury. And who do I recommend in America? In America, who do I recommend for quality pre-owned wristwatches? David SW, David SW, David SW. Go to davidsw.com. He is the best, the greatest pre-owned dealer in all of the United States of America. David SW, David SW, David SW. Hey guys, ArchieLuxury. Who do I recommend for watches in Brisbane and Sydney? Vintage Watch Co. That's correct. Vintage Watch Co. in Brisbane Arcade in Brisbane and the Strand Arcade in Sydney. Vintage Watch Co. Brisbane and Sydney. Ronnie, I've known him since the late 90s. Ronnie is a top bloke. Luke is a great guy. Vintage Watch Co. That is who I recommend in Australia. Check out Vintage Watch Co. and the guys' amazing range of watches. They also do service and repairs. Vintage Watch Co. That is where the pontiff goes. You know, some of my Pateks came from Vintage Watch Co. That's right, guys. Vintage Watch Co.